I am home, as you can see, so I'm gonna wait for y'all to see who comes on. Hey, YouTube, who's on here? Hey, look what I bought from Aldi's today at the Aldi's Finds Chamois. It's supposed to be these. It's 2 of them in a pack. I think it was like $6.99, and you're supposed to be great absorbers. You know that infomercial they had a few years back. So let me see what this. All right, I'll wait to see if more people come on. Last time when I tried to come on StreamYard, dang, this is big. Look how big this thing is. Let me show y'all what this is. Look at this. It's supposed to be Chamois 2-pack. I may buy me some more of them Aldi's if they still got them. Interesting. Holds up 10 times the weight in liquid. I'll wait for a while. This is huge. I might have to cut this. I'm gonna cut this. This is too big. Let me see. Hey YouTube, who's on here? I'm just sitting here waiting until I start. I'm just cutting some this chamois I bought at Aldi's. And look at this. Bought this at Aldi's on 124, Erica. It's supposed to be one of those Aldi finds, here today, gone tomorrow. And it's supposed to hold is 10 times its weight in water. Basically, you could use this for cleaning cloths for everything, supposedly. So I just cut it. So big. Look how big. Did I just cut it too? Okay, look. I cut this side. This is how big it was. And I don't really need something that big and huge. But it's a 2-pack. But you could cut them to the different sizes. Maybe I should do some product demos in the future. So let me put this piece back because I'm going to use this. This is a big enough piece to clean whatever. So let me start by cleaning the computer screen. All right. You already can't see me clean the screen. It was like, how much does this thing cost? Let me see. $6.99. It was $6.99. and it's a 2-pack, and it's big. So I just cut a piece of it because I'm gonna use this like a. But I'm gonna see how it is. You know, like I don't have enough cleaning cloths, but you can wash this in this. You can wash this, and this is quite pricey when it first came out. So when I saw it at Aldi's, I said, "Oh, let me get me one." So I may get me another pack if I see it again, but you don't really find these too much. And when you get, and I think this being as big as this is in a 2-pack, and you could wash this in the washer, so you could always reuse it. So, but I'm gonna see. This probably I should have cut a bigger piece. Hey Romeo, I don't know why you changed your name. Great, good things you got it because it sure won't. It sure won't be at Aldi's. And the thing, and I also bought. I'll show y'all that. I also bought me like some seasonal wine for like $3.49, and I don't even drink. But it was these those wines at Aldi's, and they had watermelon, sweet peach, and pineapple. So I bought these 2 bottles of wine. Hey Avon. So I ain't had no intentions on spending as much money today at Aldi's, but I went and you always go to Aldi's, you'll be picking up stuff you see. So yep. So Erica, if you go to Aldi's, you better get that one with the peach. Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna get the bottle from downstairs. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go there. I'll be back in 1 minute. All right, I'm back. See, I only bought one of the bottles upstairs. I don't feel like bringing both of them. So this was at Aldi's Pacific Fruit Vineyards Sweet Pineapple. Then our other one is called Sweet Peach. So it was 3, and this is seasonal. So when I saw it, I was like, I love strawberry and I love peach. So I said, let me go and try this. I'm not going to drink it just yet. So, Avon, when you come to visit, you can have a taste. I'll probably open it when you come. So, but I'm not a drinker. But I always buy wine once in a blue moon. So we're gonna try pineapple and the sweet peach. So that's a seasonal thing. So you ain't gonna really see it. And surprisingly, when I did buy, and I did drink some other wines that I bought from Aldi's, it tastes pretty good. Matter of fact, I still think I got one bottle of certain. It's like a pink Masato I think it's in the refrigerator, and that was pretty good. It's not, you know, Zinfandel. I don't drink either. I like the Aldi's in Loganville. I'll get there in the morning. Looks good. Well, I saw this one on 124 in Snellville or Centerville. It's really Centerville Highway. It's really Centerville Highway, but so some of them, all the Aldi's don't carry the same things, especially in that all the good finds. No, I don't drink either, Avon, but a little sip, it ain't gonna hurt. So, but it's getting kind of cool. But Erica, yeah, call me tomorrow because I don't know what happened because I tried finding your email and I didn't see it. So just text me your number. But I didn't see your number in my email. And that's why my email is so full. Because I've been trying to delete and maybe I'll get it later on down the line or something. I don't know. But anywho. Oh, Lady T, being a chat agent is good or bad. I know you work as a chat. I never worked as a chat agent. I've never been a chat agent, Romeo. But it is good to be a chat agent because it's better being talking on the phone all day. That's for sure. Because when you're in the chat, you don't have to. It's like when you. No, let me take that back. When I work chat for Tech and Concentrics for Apple support, yeah, it'll be a birthday toast. You're responding internally to other agents who are in the chat. Whatever I had to do. But in terms of being like exclusively as a chat agent and you responding to chats, my experience is that people who work as a chat agent, especially for Apple, you have to be responding to multiple people, not one person at a time. So you could be in a chat and a chat agent, and you may be working with 4 people at a time in the chat. So I never worked as a chat agent, but I've worked systems where I required to communicate in a chat with a different department or whatever. But when you work as a chat agent, you could be just as you have to be efficient, and there's this. It's not pressure, but I guess it's different than being on the phone because you don't have too many people who want to curse and carry on, and then you have that constant yapping in the ears, especially um when it gets escalated. When you're dealing with people complaining. Hey, CJG, the best. I never seen you before. Why you got tears in your eyes? So subscribe, comment, subscribe. Let me put the thing in the link just in case anybody wants to come on. So, so welcome to my. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna have to do me some introduction music. So, oh. So I don't know. I never seen the name CJG the best. So welcome. If you're new to my channel, just hit subscribe. Comment and the like button as you come into the room. How often do you do surveys? I do survey.com pretty regular. I mean, put it this way. What day was that? Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday. Thursday, I didn't go to work at Amazon because I just started working this past week with Wayfair, my first week. And it wasn't like I was tired. It was just kind of like I had so many things going. It's like I didn't leave, if I don't leave the house at a certain time, then I'm gonna be late, and then I'll get some points. And then at the same time, um, I did survey that day, that night, that evening. So I didn't go to work at Amazon. So I made 90. No, what I made 90 something bucks, something like that with survey that night. And it was these stores. It was right around the area too, so I didn't have to go too far. So tomorrow I'll be doing survey. So I'm gonna try. I could have done some today, but by the time I woke up about 3:30 ish, going on 4 o'clock, and then I was trying to do my bought this surface cleaner for my power wash, pressure wash, and I was trying to use it to clean the sidewalk. And then I just think it didn't work with the one I got. So I gotta have to go to Kohl's and take that product back to Amazon. So after that, I said, oh, let me go and buy me some little bit of groceries from Aldi's because I was gonna cook dinner, but I end up simply eating peanut butter, not a peanut butter. I end up eating ham and cheese sandwich and some guacamole dip and salsa chips or whatever. And I have questions, Clee. Okay, that's fine. You can call me tomorrow. So I did the surveys. I did the stores. I had to take pictures of the coolers, and it was like $8.50 per store. And it only takes about, they say it's 20 minutes to do a store, but it all depends. And so that evening I made $93 because I went to like one, two, three, four. I went to 8 stores, and it was all in the area, so I didn't have to go far. And my phone wasn't. Wait, did you do the farmers market? What farmers market? Wait, did you do? I don't know what you're asking me. I know I said I was going to go to the farmers market just for my regular groceries to buy fruits and vegetables and stuff. I know I said I was going to the Cab Farmers Market, not for nothing to do with survey. I just wanted to go to the Cab Farmers Market because I haven't been there in a minute, and I like to buy more fruit, vegetables from the farmers market versus going to Kroger's or Publix or even Aldi's. I buy um, fruit and stuff from Aldi's, but if I wanted to buy like cucumbers, tomatoes, fresh vegetables, I want to go to the Cab Farmers Market to buy those things. You know, so so if that's what you're asking, I don't know what you're asking, Erica. Wait, did you go to? No, I'm going to the farmers market probably tomorrow, and no, I got to see what's in my cabinets and stuff before I decide to buy anything else. No, I'm not open. I don't see y'all have questions. I don't know what you say. What's open? The farmers market? Oh, my survey was to go to visit the farmers market. I chose the one in Lilburn. I had to take pictures as well. Oh, okay. You must have different things because I don't. What did you do? Well, you tell me tomorrow, but I don't know what was. I guess maybe they got different assignments as you do survey.com because certain assignments that pops up, it may be different, but it's all the same. Oh, what days is the farmers market open? Oh, the farmers market is open every day. Every day, Sunday through Saturday. They close at 9 o'clock. Oh, you want to go to the farmers market when you come? We could go. We could. Well, let me tell you, Avon, because at that point, my schedule. Well, you know what? By the time you come, I'll probably take some vacation days. Not all day, like 2, 3 days in a row, but I'll take I'm gonna try to take some days off. But I do work with Wayfair. I work Saturday and Sundays, but I'll be working from 8 to 5:30. So I get off at 5:30. So yeah, I'll be getting off at 5:30. But I could probably put it in my request because one thing they do at that noise in the back. I know at with Wayfair, I think they said I'm gonna have to clarify that Tuesday because we off tomorrow for Labor Day. I think they said on your birthday you could take. They give you your day. You could take. You're off on your birthday. So if your birthday, they do something with your birthday. They'll pay you on your birthday, and you could take that day off or something. I thought that's what I read, but I'll clarify that. And then I know they say they give you one day. Like if I did a volunteering type of thing at an organization, you can have a day of service and they pay you and you can take that day off. But some people take advantage of it, but a lot of people don't. So they real big on collaboration. Okay, I can't know. Okay, well that's fine. I'll look at my schedule and see what's going on. But we have all that talked about. We'll talk about that. I don't want to discuss that in the chat because I know that's private. But we'll talk about it. You call me and let me know where you be at. Then we'll go from there. But anywho, so in regards to my recap, like I said, the first week was training, and oh, I'm sorry, I need to go back on and read the comments. I found. Oh, I'm sorry, CG, CG, CJG. Happy birthday! Oh, we'll pray for your dad. Everything goes well. CJG. Now I have to call you the best because that's CJG. That's just a mouthful. CJG. How old are you gonna be? It's your birthday. What they got going on? All that noise. Yeah. So Erica, I do survey. I don't do it every day, but in actuality, you could do survey.com every day, especially if they give you the alerts about specials. But you could do survey.com every day and actually make decent amount of money a month because when I was doing it like every when I was doing it like 5 days a week or whatever and that was in conjunction with maybe some other little apps that I was doing, I made some pretty good money in terms of every month. But like I said, I try to keep that a secret because get too many people now. Too many people be, and especially if they live near you. Because I thought that no, hardly a lot of people didn't know about it. But one time I went to Kroger's and I saw this one girl. She was doing those. Remember I was telling you I was doing the assignment. It was $12.50 an hour. You go to the store, you get the box, and you put up the little merchandise for Watch USA, those phone accessories. Boy, I was killing it with that. When they had those assignments, I would go to the Kroger on Rockbridge Road. Um, um, the Kroger on Snellville, all over the place. I was going to a whole, and it was like a group of stores, and I would like go literally. That would be my whole day. And if you get something like that pays you per hour, and all you're doing is just going to the merchandising the store or whatever, that could be a pretty good little source of change. And then of course, they have it where the resets, the ones at the Walmart, you pay like $120 for 7, 8 hours, and you working with a team with a bunch of other people from different companies. That could be a little bit challenging. It's not like it's hard work, but it's sometimes they may not be as organized, and then, um, you know, they act like you their employee, but you're there as an independent contractor. Yeah, you're there to do the store and help do the Walmart or whatever, but um, they be wanting you to do stuff that you're not even trained or not even authorized to do. Like we just gonna pull this shelf up with with these big tools. I'm like, I'm not. I wasn't trained to do that. You know. Now I'll put the merchandise on the thing, or clean, or straighten things up, or move merchandise around the store. But sometimes, like that last one I had a couple weeks ago, um, they wanted you to work with a jack. Oh yes, I saw a lot of those assignments, 12.50 an hour. You ain't got. It's not unfortunate. Trust me, Erica. There'll be a whole lot of assignments available, but I think it's different. I think we might have different things because the $15 per store, that's pretty good. Which store did you do for $15? Was it Dollar Tree? Because I haven't seen the $12.50 store hours, so we might have different ones on survey because you do get a profile score. Like mine is still at 2.5. I don't know why mine's still at 2.5, and I still get assignments, but I think the higher those big you just started, so you're gonna see a lot of those assignments that I may not necessarily see on my app. So the more you do them and the higher your score is, the more they're gonna show you the more higher paying ones. Because I used to see those 12.50 per hour, and it's not that hard. It really isn't. So don't look at it and say you only did one assignment for $15. But if you set yourself like a schedule, and if you see claim and you say, okay, I'm going, or if you're in the area, see, I know what it is. Depending on the area, like if you're in some other part of Atlanta, those assignments may show up. Whereas where I'm at, I'm not going to see anything. It was the Nam Dam, yep. I know which one you're talking about. That farmers market, Nam Dam Tram. I know which one that is. Was that the one you have to go all to the? You have to go all the way around. You have to walk that supermarket, and they ask you to check certain sections of the store and take pictures of it, like an audit thing. I think that was like $15. I've done those before. I went to the one on Memorial Drive, the Nam Dam Farmers Market, and I don't know why they call it a farmers market. It's not a farmers market. It's nothing more than a big old. Well, you could say it's you could it could be it looks like it's not really a farmers market compared to the Cat Farmers Market. It's more like a big Asian supermarket that sells things in bulk, but it's not like the Cat Farmers Market. They have more like you know, all it's more fresh fruits, vegetables, meats, you know, specialty things, and then Nam Tram. They have a variety of vegetables, fruit, and stuff too, but I don't know. They got some good prices too. Like you go like, but I don't know. Right, it was like Food Depot, but very clean. I say, yeah, that's true because Nam Dam Tram, whatever, a lot of it's USDA. So like when they have that big, huge thing of lamb or um big, huge cuts of meat that comes directly, and sometimes I sleep on that place though. In terms of like really wanting to go and buy groceries, I really sleep on that. But it's kind of like it's not as retail compared to like Whole Food. Whole Food is not really farmers market. It's no Whole Food never said farmers market. I think they more catered towards more Asian foreign type of stuff. That's what I would say Nam Tram is. Yeah, Food Depot is more like a warehouse. They more like a warehouse. Okay. It's around the corner from my house and I go there a lot. Which one? Food Depot or Nam Tram, whatever. I know one thing. When I be watching HGTV or the Food Network, it ain't nothing. The farmers market. Oh, the farmers market. Oh, okay. The farmers market. I don't live near one, but I think I have an idea where you live. If you say you live on Lawrenceville Highway, I know where you. I know where you at. Yep, I know exactly where you are. That Nam Tram on Lawrenceville Highway. I thought that's Lilburn. I thought you lived in Stone Mountain. That's more like Lilburn almost, unless you're talking about the other one. Yeah. Oh, okay. I know where you at. Parkview. That area turned from being white to Indian to Hispanic and black. I think my neighbor, she lived across the street. She didn't too much care for the HOAs here in Water's Edge, and she bought a house near Parkview High School up in Lilburn, in that side of town. So she thought it was a better place. I mean, Parkview is one of those sought after schools in Gwinnett County, but compared to like Brookwood, that was really, I ain't gonna say exclusive, but those Parkview was really a good school, of what I heard. But if I had children and I had to, and I was gonna buy a house, I probably wouldn't have lived over here. If I was focused on education and stuff, I would have not chose to live in DeKalb County and lived over here. Only thing good Stevenson High School, maybe good for, not good because it is a good school compared to Redan and some of these other schools, but Stevenson, they was when I first moved over here, they were real good in terms of the band. They was always on national TV, the Thanksgiving parade. Stevenson and a couple of high schools in Atlanta be on the Thanksgiving parade, but Stevenson was on there, and I think they was even on the president. When President Obama, well, I think they was on there. President Obama, they may have been invited, but the band for Stevenson and football, they were always really good. When they built that height, when they built Water's Edge, and I think I heard, when it was very exclusive at one time, um, Stevenson High School and that other magnet school that's around the corner from my house, um, it was one of the better places to send kids for school. But yeah, Parkview is really good. I don't know how it is now, but it's pretty good. Yeah, that's what I said, Erica. They have a great band in football. That's what they good for. They probably good academically, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's one of the best, but it's better than Redan and MOK and some of those other raggedy schools they got in DeKalb County. But Stevenson is good. The reason they have a great band and football team was because when um with this area with Water's Edge and stuff, when they had developed this community, they had like a lot of big wigs, so-called big wigs, black people. They lived in Water's Edge, and they had but before that economic downturn happened, when the prices started dropping, and I guess they felt, oh, let's move to Snellville. They'll move 5 miles, and they started moving 5 miles down the road. Well, but it's coming back. But the '90s was the glory days, I guess you could say, for DeKalb County. Memorial Drive. They I to hear people say Memorial Drive. They had all these big stores. I said where? Because I could see it from the shelf that it was real great at one time until they dragged it down to the ground. But but as anything else, gentrification gonna start hitting back to Memorial Drive, some parts of Memorial Drive, and they're gonna make their way right back and see. So that's why I'm trying to hold out with this house because Decatur and certain parts of Atlanta, the economy wise, hasn't been hit as hard. At least I haven't seen it. I mean, that's what's leading up to my topic tonight. Well, that's not the recap, but I was watching a couple of people's YouTube videos. Well, one person, it was Timothy Blaine, and I was watching his short video. And he was talking about the homelessness, and I watched that same video. Water's Edge is a really nice. Yeah, it is a nice neighborhood. That's what drew me to live. That's what drew me over here. I was like, ooh. And then I had a former friend. Her house, she lived down the street, and she was telling me about it. So when I first moved here, going on what matter of fact, my anniversary of moving in this house is coming up. September. Yeah, I think it's today. I mean, I signed on my house on August 1st, but I didn't move until September. Yep, right around this time. It's been 11 years since I've lived here. 2000. Yep, 11 years I've lived here. Can you imagine? Now, if I had planted those muscadine grapes trees or seeds in the backyard, I probably would have had some muscadine grapes in the backyard. But dang, I didn't know muscadine grapes take that long to materialize like that. But I know I did threw some seeds out there, so something's growing in that backyard that I don't know. So maybe one day I'll see some muscadine grapevine trees in the back if the deers don't come by and eat them. But I have a friend. They still live here or they moved? Yeah, a lot of people, they got some real nice houses. I have, matter of fact, one of the houses I would have bought was near the lake, but I'm glad I didn't buy that because they had that big flood that happened in Atlanta, and it would have washed out that whole entire backyard lake. It would have been bad. And then home insurance doesn't come with flood insurance. You had to get that separate. So, and then that would have been too much. That would have been too much. So, but I bought this house for 119 and it praised back in 2009 for 130. And then when I looked it up, because I'm thinking about changing from Liberty Mutual to this other insurance company, and when I was doing mint.com and I put in all my assets and all this stuff, it said this house is worth 189, almost low 200s. But I keep getting these phone calls from people. My name is Throwing that down with to buy your house. Get the hell off my phone. Stop calling me. Every day I get a damn call about we want to buy your house. No. What the fuck? Hey yo mama. Oh, we be getting these people. Yep, that's what I bought it for. And I put down the 2%. So it was 117,000. Actually, it was 117,000 that I bought this house. This 4 bedroom, 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath. They don't have no basement though, but and I put a lot of work in this house in terms of like I bought brand new windows, brand new garage. I put down some flooring, but but I'm about to tear that crap up because the person messed it up. All those houses are worth at least money. I don't know about 400K, but I know my house is worth somewhere in that low range 180 that you said. The other ones that's way bigger than mine, um, it may be worth more like in the twos, but I don't think there's no house here in the Water's Edge that's 400K. I haven't seen it, but on Bermuda Road when you go to that side road, and it was I've seen it was a house that was on the market for years. It was beautiful. Someone bought that house in the 149. That might be worth 200, no, 300,000. One day when I drive, I'm gonna turn my camera, and when I'm driving, I'm gonna show y'all some of the areas in the neighborhood. Eric, I know you know where things are, but y'all, the other ones, y'all don't know. But I've seen this, with Amazon being up the road now with that facility, and I was driving down Lilburn, Lawrenceville Highway, and I saw these signs over the weekend, yesterday, no martyr. So, Erica, okay, I live on Dockside. You're probably talking about my house. I almost bought a house in Dockside. It probably wasn't the one I got. Shoot. This house was owned by a man who was an executive for DuPont because I keep getting his mail occasionally, and his pension um, records came because when he lost his job. Let me tell you how bad it was. I know that alarm thing is gonna be beeping. Um, the man who had this house, he must have bought it when they first built it or something. I don't know. Um, he was an executive for DuPont, and when he lost his job, the neighbor next door, well, the two neighbors, one lived over there and one over there, Brad and Lance. Now they married, and when he lost his house in this foreclosure, all his belongings was on that curb, and he got so depressed that they said that this was like a they would they would try to check on him. They said he was living his it was a squalor, I guess you could say. I don't know. I never did bless this house. I should have had some sage and walk around, get all the bad spirits and any bad luck that came with this house. But yeah, he lost his house in a foreclosure. Some white man investor bought the house for 80. Bought this house for 89,000 because I looked it up and he made $20,000. I guess you could say $30,000. He bought the house. He didn't put a whole lot of work in this house because this house had no blinds. This house had no appliances except for that broken dishwasher that I still got, which I need to buy a new one. The door that I need to buy to be replaced. So he did a little bit of work just to flip this house, and I bought it at that price. And if I had not bought this house, somebody would have bought it. They would have to put the same amount of work that I did. I haven't upgrade inside the house. Like when I mean upgrade, I'm talking about when you bought a house, when you buy a house in the 90s, they always got that gold looking old fixtures and stuff. So I mean, it has its good solidness inside. What they say, bone structure, I guess you could say. So, but I'm glad I bought the house. I'm glad I bought this house when I did buy it because let me tell you, if I didn't buy a house and if I didn't buy this house, I probably wouldn't be living in Georgia. I probably would not have lived here. I probably would have moved probably to Texas, not Houston. I probably would have moved to Austin because I did got a job offer at Austin when I was working at the IRS. And I probably would have moved to Austin. I did consider one time moving to the West Coast. And I think at that time, I ain't talking about 2006. I would have been moved in, I probably would have moved in 2000, 2001, or something like that. And I don't know. I know for sure I would, if I had got this house, I wouldn't have lived here. That's all I know. And I wouldn't have moved to Charlotte. I probably would have moved out of the South. I probably would have moved more into Southwest Texas or somewhere in the West Coast, like California. But it would have to be not a big, huge, major city in California. But I always wanted to move to San Francisco or live in Oakland. But then I did have one relative that lived in Seattle. But I don't know. I always wanted to live someplace that I never really lived before. Because I lived in New York, I lived on the East Coast, I already lived in the South. So, but at this point, being 51 and say I give myself another 15 years to work, I think because I'm not saying I will stay and work for 15 years at any one company, like say for instance Amazon or Wayfair. All right, yo mama. Whoever your real name is. I don't know what future plans that I have for myself because the way the I think when the coronavirus or Rona came around in March and a lot of people got affected with the economy, losing their jobs. I don't know. It's like this coming, you know, way before Rona came around, there was always talks about a recession that's going to be coming. They didn't know it was going to happen this year or it's going to happen next year, but it's always been determined that we're going to be in a recession. Rona simply exposed that. That's all it did. It didn't. We didn't get in a recession. All this economic stuff happening now, with people being evicted and millions of people losing their jobs and all that. That didn't happen because of the coronavirus. That was happening because they never corrected the situation from 2009 on. It's like diabetes. It's a progressive disease, and Trump ain't fixed nothing. Obama was not the savior, even though we were, when President Obama was in office for 8 years, there was growth, you know, there was job growth, there was there was some good things that came about, but a lot of things still needed to be worked on, and a lot of it was caused by one, they didn't want to really implement any of his policies, and two, they wasn't trying to work together either, you know? So this housing crisis that's going on with high rates of rent and people being evicted, that's not a problem that just happened this year because of the corona. Housing prices and lack of homes and, well, put it this way, affordable housing, and that's all driven by market, you know? Now, I can only speak for Atlanta because I don't live in the other cities. When I was driving Uber, doing food deliveries and driving all over Atlanta, I've been to every place in Atlanta you could think of at one point or another. Whether it was doing Amazon, Flex, Uber Eats, Grubhub, whomever. I've been to East Point, I've been to College Park, I've been near the airport, I've been to Buckhead, I've been downtown, I've been all over Stone Mountain, I've been all over Decatur, I've been up in Jefferson County, I've been almost to Athens, Braselton, east, west, north, south. I've been there. And in town in Atlanta, like Smyrna, not Smyrna. Yeah, I might say Smyrna. Put that in there. Put them in there too. Cobb County. When they've been building up, they were building all these apartments downtown, and people started moving to Atlanta because it was supposed to be like the tech of the South. Then with the film production, it was supposed to be the Hollywood of the South. So everyone started moving here to Atlanta. Now, I moved in Atlanta in the 1996, Valentine's Day of 96. That was the Olympic year. A lot of people were moving to Atlanta then. But it's a different kind of climate. When I moved here in 96, you know, it was kind of, Atlanta was not big as it was. And it wasn't a big international city on the map. Now, the Olympics brought them on the map, but in terms of the growth, a lot of black folks live in town. All these places with these high ass expensive rent and houses and stuff. I lived in Grant Park. I lived in East Atlanta. I lived in down Buckhead in the Darlington apartments. I lived in all those places, and I was paying 400. No, when I lived in the Darlington across the street, it used to be Justin's restaurant. That was Puff Daddy's restaurant right across the street from the Shepherd Center. That's Buckhead. That's called Holly. That's the Beverly Hills of the South. And their apartments, the Darlington apartments, those were like the real old bills. It was a studio. I was paying 500, no, 400 and something a month for a studio. It was a good little studio size for me too. And then it was like I think the most that I've ever paid when I lived there. And I lived there for like 7 years. I didn't move. It was very convenient. Um, Matter of fact, let me see, 2002. Yep, 2002. Because that's when I bought a car. I didn't need no car. I did buy that Corolla, which I still got back in 2001, and I lived there. Like I said, I moved to Atlanta in '96, and I lived in I think I lived in at least three, four different, no, four different type of apartments throughout the city. But when I lived downtown, well, Buckhead rather, utilities were included. Everything was included. Gas, electric, everything was included in that rent. It was like 500 something, $525. Then it went up 550, 560. Then it stayed there because I lived there for so long. Man, 2 years ago, I went to that Darlington Apartments. They renovated inside of it. I went in there, and that was the good thing about it. They had the hair salon downstairs, a little convenience store, dry cleaner, the place that had a pizza place, sandwich shop. It was cute. It was real nice. I went to that same apartment, Darlington Apartments. I used to live on the 22nd floor. On my window, I used to see Lenox Mall when they had the fireworks. Convenient. It was a beautiful view. Man, I went up there to ask them how much that same apartment was. Guess what they said? Guess. I'll wait for y'all to put some answers in the chat before I mention it. Okay, they wanted $1,200+ for that same 500. No, it was like 500 and something square feet facing Buckhead Business District, the scenery. They wanted over $1,200 for that same apartment. No, 12. I think it was 13. They wanted like 13. Yep, $1,500, Erica, for that same apartment that I lived there for 7 years. I lived there for 6, 7 years, paying 500 and something with all utilities included. They wanted $1,500, $1,600. I was like, what? Nope. Sounds like Cali. I don't know what it sounded like. I know it sounded like the devil because I was like, and and that rent they talking about, that didn't even include the utilities. They didn't include no utilities in that price either. And then the girl got the nerve to be all snooty and stuff. I was like, bitch, I got a big house. I got a whole house with that little studio apartment y'all talk about y'all wanted. I was like, y'all crazy. I was like, man. And they ain't did nothing different. They didn't knock down two walls and put two studios and made it one. It's the same apartment. Only thing they probably did was paint it and maybe update some lights and stuff. I was like, And then they had another apartment that was straight downtown, which was the sister community, but that was too small. I was like, no, I don't like this one. So I said, I'll go and choose the one at Darlington, the Darlington. Man, they crazy. Then I lived in Smyrna in the gated community, not too far from the baseball stadium. Beautiful. That was the last place I lived before I bought this house. Beautiful grounds. I went there one day. One location. You got that right. But the one in Smyrna, what was it? It was that big apartment. So you can see that big, not the post apartments. What was the name of that one? That was the last place I lived too before I lived over here. My rent was $600 and something a month. I think I went over there one time when I was doing deliveries and I was going in there doing deliv and I was dropping off somebody's package. They were renovating the apartment complex or something, and I think they were talking about 17 8. I think they were talking about 1800 and stuff, and something like that, depending on which style you wanted. They were talking in the thousands a month for rent too. I was paying my rent was $700. No, I know it wasn't even seven. They wanted 700. It was 685, and that was 10 years ago because I lived here for 11 years. So I was like, Jesus, I lived in a lot of places when I moved to Atlanta, and I wasn't paying no way close to whatever what they were talking about. All these places, the cheapest place, if anybody want to move to Atlanta, let me tell you, even that raggedy manager who from Domino's, when he was looking for a place to live, and he mentioned somewhere on Lawrenceville Highway, and me and Victor was like, hell no, you don't want to live over there. And he had no choice. He had no choice. And he was talking about, oh, they wanted $900. I said, you know what? But $200 more, I'll move closer to Tucker. Rather maybe choose a different apartment for a little bit to $200 more. I'll pay $1,100 and move right across the street from where Domino's. That's what I'll tell you, Avon, with the hotels and stuff. I said, shoot, I wouldn't live in that apartment complex, but he couldn't afford not making $12 an hour, and he wasn't gonna get no damn bonus at Domino's with all that money being missing or stolen rather, because that's what happened, stealing money from the till. They didn't want me to say nothing. I said, and I think he was supposed to get custody of his kids, his 3 kids, and it wasn't the best apartments, but he was like, he had no choice. I said, those real raggedy apartments. And it wasn't so much because it was raggedy, it was the fact that it was one of those what they call last chance. You pay $1,200 non-refundable, and if you had leasing issues, you live there. And trust me, I've delivered food in some of those in that apartments, those raggedy apartments, and it was like you walking up the stairs, the handle thing all loose. You think you're gonna fall through the wood of the stairs, trash all over the place, stranded animals walking all over. It was just disgusting. I said no. Somebody just bought some cheap apartments, and they lived in some foreign country, and they be renting these apartments to people. I was like, not, old units, old broken down units, nothing fixed up, and they ain't gonna fix nothing up either. They weren't planning on fixing nothing. But people who, and you get in that predicament, anything in Atlanta, they talking about is $900 a month or $800, and please don't let it be $700. You living in pre 1980 South Bronx, burnt up buildings, crackheads. That's where you're living. That's how I could describe it. Put it that way. Or yep, you got one word, it's location. Or you may be a step up from Skid Row, because I've been watching videos like Los Angeles, and they was talking about Skid Row, and they had these people living in whatever. I mean, I know people who need a place to live, and affordable housing could be very obtainable, put it that way. But I'm so glad that I do have my house and when I bought it at the time, because let me tell you, it took a lot of preparation. It took a lot of when I decided to buy a home, I had about $30,000 plus in cash. Not that I gave them 30,000. I saved up 30,000 in my liquid cash. That's in just savings, not even including 401k and everything else. I mean, I would have if I had no student loan debts, I almost would have perfect credit. I almost would be perfect credit. But I'm gonna tackle that. That's another project altogether with those student loans. But when before that economic downturn, I was always working multiple jobs or working overtime like crazy and just building up my emergency fund. Because when I watched that thing on that film they had or that newsreel about people being evicted, they were showing Houston and watching Timothy Blaine video, and people was like, and he was, and let me tell you, I don't know if y'all know who Timothy Blaine is, but he he about live out there in San Francisco on YouTube, wrote these books, former meth addict, was in prison 10 times, and then he's a black gay old man. Not old, but he's like 64, something like that. And he lives in public housing. He got rent, government assistance and live in San Francisco with his dog called Sweeney. So, and he was talking about today on the video, the same thing I saw on CNN.com. They had these people were being evicted. It was another YouTube video. People were being evicted in Houston. Houston has one of the highest eviction rates all across the country, but it's indicative of what's going on in this country. And they had this one Hispanic guy, his 3 kids, assumed baby mama. They were all getting notice of eviction, and the sheriff came and they said you getting evicted. Now, when the sheriff come to evict you, they give you 10 minutes, 15 minutes to leave. Gather whatever belongings you got and go. And he ain't had no place to live. He had 3 kids, baby mama, and he had a baby carriage that he had to put the possessions in, whatever worldly possessions they had to put it in the, and he was walking down the street, he had nowhere to go. Somehow or another, somebody came across the story. I think they did a GoFundMe account, and they was able to help him temporarily, because that's what it is, temporarily. It wasn't permanent. So I was like, then they had the other part of the video showing this old woman. She was being evicted. The sheriff called the social services, and he said he couldn't serve. It was 100 degrees in Texas. It's still 100 degrees or whatever. He couldn't evict her. He said, I can't, she couldn't even pick up a lamp. She couldn't do anything. She was so elderly. I was like, God, dog. And he was wheelchairing her out. He said he couldn't leave her out in the street like that in that 100-degree weather. He was doing his job. The judge ordered the eviction, and the sheriff, they got a stack of whatever, and he had to go and evict people. When he went to that old lady, he had to serve her the eviction. And they had a moving guy. I don't know if y'all saw that YouTube video, but it's y'all probably see it. It's popping up. And then the moving person, he was crying. He was crying. He had to do his job, but he was crying when he left. It was just so heartbreaking. Just so heartbreaking. But one of the things I wrote in his comment was that this coronavirus didn't cause these major evictions. It just exposed it, just like everything else is being exposed. And people were, they were going on about that $600 a week, and they're going back and forth debating about it. Now, don't get me wrong, that $1,200 and the $1,000 with the Ely or whatever, $1,200 will probably help you pay a few bills, maybe pay 1 month rent or mortgage, or 2, 3 electric, 2, 3 utility bills, or whatever. That that money, that one-time stimulus, whether it be 1,200, 2,400, or whatever, they didn't give out this stimulus for helping people pay bills. They gave out that money in hopes that people buy goods and services in the economy. That's what that was supposed to stimulate the economy, for people to be able to go out and buy merchandise, goods, cars, maybe cars, I don't know. I never put a down payment on no car, so I would never take that $1,000 now. Maybe that $1,000 paid, part of that was build up my bank account on my checking account and help me pay for the repairs that I had to do on that car, because I need the car to drive to go to work or whatever. But people were relying on that $600 per week plus the unemployment to catch up. Now, everyone wants to. One of the things that this person, Timothy Blaine, was mentioning was the government is here to help. That's what their job is to do, is to help people in these crises. I said, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's true, but the government doesn't have any money to do that. Printing money is making this economy worse. Giving out that second stimulus is making matters worse. Then you have to, the way to stimulate the economy and turn this thing around, of course, get rid of Trump, for one, with racist ass, is to stimulate, and United States need to be buying, we need to be making things. Everything that we buy, even these masks, we buying these masks left and right. When I hand out these masks at work, you buy these masks, you look on the box, where is it made? It's made in China. This cheap ass watch thing I bought for the repel mosquitoes, this thing was made in China. And when I try to return it, because I said this thing ain't worth the crap, they telling me to return it to someplace in Wuhan, China. I said to return it was going to cost me more than what the watch cost. This thing was $35. It paid me $30 for me just to ship it back to China. So I'm disputing PayPal. I said I want all of my money back. I'm not gonna, thing came in China and gave it to me in Chinese, and it had no address to where to return. You're gonna tell me I gotta return it back someplace in China? No, there's an agent that's in between, that's in the United States, that is gonna bring this back, get my money back. But that's another story altogether. So even the simple mask, someone in China is making these masks, but the China economy is doing better, and you're not doing better compared to the United States. The United States is not producing anything. Manufacturing is what produces and makes the economy strong. That's why the United States was a superpower in the 1950s. After the World War II, the United States was the leading country producing, manufacturing cars and homes. It was manufacturing that took that propelled the United States economy. Affordable housing, and that's affordable housing and white flight and all that. That happened in the when they built the major highways. When you go and drive in the highway, it was a major U.S. highway block when it was built in the 1950s. The interstate highway system that was Congress enact, and they built 5,000 miles of highway miles. That when they built those highways, that destroyed a lot of communities, black communities particularly. I love history. I love studying historical aspects in regards to economics and the economy. And a lot of black neighborhoods, like I was watching about Florida and how there was black neighborhoods in Florida, Orlando, and how when they built those major interstate highways, it tore, and not just Florida. I mean, even New York and the Bronx and cities. They tore and built up inner cities, even in Atlanta. They tore across what they call urbanization, built up these major highways, destroyed communities. So people had to move because they were going to build this highway regardless. And building up these highways destroyed a lot of communities. Affordable housing and all the housing crisis, it ain't just started this year. And it ain't started 2 years ago. It's been a progressive thing that's been happening for years, decades. That's what I ain't gonna say centuries, decades. People want to find someplace cheap to live. What they gonna do? They're gonna come back in the inner cities where black folks live, Hispanic, Mexican, whoever, black people, people of color. They're gonna move into those neighborhoods, buy up these properties cheap, on the low low. People always had homes. If you're black and you lived in this country, your mama, grandmama, grandparents, great grandparents had land. My mother told me, she said, don't ever say that you homeless, because don't ever say you have a place to go. I have a place. If something happened to me, I'm so thankful my mother did help me out last year when I was fell behind on my mortgage. But she always said, you always have some place to come to. Despite of our differences that we had years, when I was growing up, we had a little rough patch. But I remember growing up, me, my two sisters, I did have other sisters, but half sister. But me and my two other sisters, we lived in the Bronx. I remember as a little girl, I never felt I was poor. I never felt that we grew up struggling, but we were poor. We lived in the well. When I remember growing up, I was a little girl when I was um went back to live with my parents because I was raised as a baby till I was 5, 6 years old with my grandparents in South Carolina. Then my parents went and get me, and then I was raised by my parents from 6 years on. I remember we lived in the South Bronx. It was on Jessup Avenue, and we lived in the apartment building where it was like I remember the ceiling was leaking, collapsing down, and my uncle and his children, we all lived in the same apartment building. It was like a big, huge building. I remember when they was tearing it down and we had to move. So that's when we moved up to the northeast part of the Bronx, which was a little bit more better than the South Bronx, and they had residential and stuff. I remember my parents. I didn't grow up rich. We were not rich. We were not well up. I never felt deprived. Put it that way. So My grandparents, even on my mother's side, my father's side, they always, we lived in the country. People lived in the country. They had a house, had land. There was no concept of renting. Now what they call renting is sharecropping, but I want to be historical on y'all. But with my, we never lived on Section 8 housing or anything like that because I had two parents. And I'm quite sure my mother, you know, growing up, people probably would have qualified for government type of assistance. I remember we would get that government cheese. So obviously we had some kind of assistance, but they had the government cheese. It was that big block of cheese and that powdered milk and stuff. I remember little things like that. But that's probably because people probably need some help. There's a such thing as a hand out. What is it? You could ask for a hand up, but don't get to the point where, people start abusing it. Government assistance was not for people to live on there forever and ever. It was meant to be generational. Mama lived there, my mama lived there, this person lived there. At some point or another, you have to get up your lazy ass and go to work. So one of my issues that I have with what's going on with the housing crisis is that when I was watching that part of the YouTube film, my first thing was this. Now let's go over the people that they were for showing. For the elderly woman, my first thing was, where is her children? If she didn't have any children, but where's her other family members? That's one of the things, my biggest fear of living alone, that I never had any children or been married, is because I don't want to be 70 something years old and just have nobody there. That's my biggest fear. It's not dying, because we all gonna have to leave this earth one day. My thing is dying alone. That is my biggest fear. Because the fact that I don't, because I'm the last generation. That's it. There won't be anyone else after me. Now, I know a lot of people try to always console to me. I know I'm starting to cry. Too, well, Teresa, you can always adopt. You can always go be a foster parent. But yes, it's good to give back to those who may need a home or need someone to love and someone to take care of them, but it's not the same. I'm not dismissing adoption, but I just feel that is my biggest regret. Now, I was pregnant before. Now, I'm not going to tell that story because that'll be too long. Oh, thank you. And when that part of the story, I was saying to myself, that old woman, now that police officer, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to go and call his supervisor and tell them, I can't do that. I'm not gonna evict her. He said, I could let you stay here another day. But he took upon himself to call social services and get social services involved. And I'm quite sure they probably was able to escalate her issue and probably find one of those senior citizen homes, or somebody, somebody has someplace for that old woman to stay. And they think they could help one person, but you can't help thousands and thousands of people who are in that situation. Now I live right around the corner, well, up the street from a senior citizen living home. I'm I'm not saying I will move there, but I'm just saying that I've been to a couple. When I was doing food deliveries, I would go to some of these senior citizen housing throughout the Atlanta. I've been to very several, and people would say, my father would say to me one time, he passed away, but I know when I get old, y'all gonna probably put me in a home. And he would joke about that and stuff, but I know darn well I would not do that. I would not have done that. If my father was alive and or whatever, I would not have put my father in a home. Now, if I had to put him in a home, it ain't gonna be like a home, like a nursing home, and no, it won't be like one of those nursing homes where people just be there alone, nobody come to visit. And besides, if my father was still alive, my parents would be together. Hey, Connie, and my mother said to me maybe 2 Christmases ago that all the struggles that she went through, and I remember growing up as a little girl, she would go to community college, went to a bachelor's degree, then got her master's degree and her doctorate. And as a little girl, me and my sisters, we would be, if we weren't at an aunt's house or some other relative's house in the Bronx or somewhere, we would be, my mother would take us along when she goes to school, and we would be outside playing. And my father, he was a New York cab driver in New York, those yellow cabs. And my mother said to me and my sister that she struggled for years, but but she kept herself not so much financially. I mean, yeah, she's financially well off now, but it took the struggle. And she said, I'm not going to rely on anyone to take care of me when I get, my mother's old, elderly. I'm 50 something, so my mother is 70 something now. But it's preparation. And she told me, she said, y'all better keep y'all better keep yourself financial. I mean, I feel that my generation we're not as well off compared to my mother's generation. I feel that the previous generations, even my grandmother, my mother, people in that generation, they struggled and had it much harder than what my generation is. And most definitely the next generation now, millennials and the ones, I think they just got it too easy. They got it too easy. And that's why I said in that post that in his video was public housing should not be for the able bodied people. Just because you say, oh, I can't work because whatever, you shouldn't get public housing. You shouldn't be in public housing. I think public housing should be all for people, elderly people who worked for years and years, should be the ones fortunate to should be ones getting public housing. Because if you can't afford those nursing homes are very expensive. People pay into when y'all work, then they give you those options of signing up for short-term, long-term disability and those type of insurance. So when you get older, your retirement plan, you have to do things now. So when you get older, after working for 20, 30, 50, 60 years, that you're able to live in a community of other people and enjoy your life. It did not make any sense that old elderly woman, she might have been about 78, almost 80 years old or whatever, to have no one. And that was that was just heartbreaking. That was just heartbreaking. Because I know my grandmother with all of my aunts, my mother, all the grandkids, I'm talking about me, my cousins. My grandmother ain't never had to really worry because she even said it. Even the last year, my grandmother's birthday be in a couple of days. She'll be 93. And one of the things she said was she's been blessed to have all that. She said children. I got all these children, not children, children. And she would never have to be without. Even if my grandfather was alive, my aunts and uncles and stuff. Now, some of them may not be able to financially help, but they would do something. They would never let anyone struggle like that. Never. My grandmother lives by herself, but she does have people come over to help her. My grandparents, my uncles and stuff, they live across the way. But in terms of being in that predicament, my grandmother ain't work. Yeah, she was a working housewife. She took care of the kids. She took over the grandkids, great grandkids. She took over the house. My grandfather worked very hard. He worked in the fields, sold vegetables. We had a farm, and he worked at a plant. My grandfather worked. He worked. They ain't had no welfare. They ain't had no food stamps. They ain't had that. We can give you my, they ain't had their hand out. So part of the struggles that I see, especially more younger people, they have kids, and you can't afford to feed those kids, clothe those kids, but you got $200 Jordans on your feet. You got a $1,000 cell phone. You got things on your neck, blings on your neck. You driving $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 rims on a beat up looking car, but yet when something happens, you expect the government to, where my check, where my $600 a week check. I'm not saying everybody is in that predicament that does that. There are some people legitimate that needs help, but my thing is this. I drive up and down Lawrenceville Highway, going to Amazon, doing all these merchandising gigs. I see signs everywhere. Now hiring, all over. Yeah, it may be fast food places, restaurants. But you're trying to tell me you want a $600 stimulus check, especially live here in Atlanta, and you able-bodied, you waiting for a government to bail you out. And you live in public housing. I know some people now. I know one person now. They were a co-worker. They live downtown Peachtree Street. I know exactly where she lived. I said, well, dang, how you get to live over here? I know where she lived at. Because when the city of Atlanta had all these housing built up over the place, they had to have 10% or 5% or whatever the percentage is that had to be affordable housing. Delegated to people for affordable housing, and they pay whatever percentage of rent for the rent. Some people ain't even working, but they had to do something. They either had to go to school or they supposed to work somewhere or whatever. But I was like, is that really fair? Some people on the list for 7, 8 years to get public housing. But some of the people I see that be in public housing, they shouldn't even be in there. Have their boyfriend living in there. They ain't supposed to have nobody on the lease. They don't have no one on the lease. That's what these trifling ass men in Atlanta, they be hooking up with women. Yo, you got your SNAP card? Yo, because they know. They be want to lay up in their house, in their apartment until somebody snitch and say, oh, so-and-so got a man over there. And then you get pulled out on the street, but then you want to get mad But mm-mm, mm-mm. I'm sorry. I just think so many young girls, and I'm gonna call them girls, they be up and living places like that with their 5, 6, 7 kids, by 5, 6 baby daddies, and y'all got public housing because y'all fortunate, y'all lucky and grace of God. So where you were able to get an apartment and live in affordable housing. But I just think you're too young. You're too young. There's elderly people who can't even afford to live or get into those type of apartments. But some people, I just think in some age limit, if you're a certain age, 30 something, she's 30 something years old. She got one son. He goes to a private school that charters whatever. And I think she said she's still working from home from some company or whatever. But I know in her mind, I know when I spoke with her, she would say she don't want to really be in that type of, keep being going on that housing situation, but she would have to, and she's not going to give up the apartment because she is affordable housing. But I'm quite sure how many people really get offered housing, because once you own it or you get it and you paying 400 something to live straight downtown Atlanta that pays 2,000 plus, you living around apartments that's 2,000 plus a month, or you paying a condos that's people paying 800,000, 1 point something million, and you so one of those fortunate ones that didn't get booted out of the communities because gentrification, you know they still got some places that still falls under that, but they don't want people there either. When the Olympics came in Atlanta, they had Carver homes and all of those. Basically, it was ghetto Section 8 housing. They tore all that crap down. Cause I wish I had a camera at the time and took a picture of that, what it used to look like, and say, look what it used to look, what it used to, what it used to look like now. Look what it like looking at now. It'll be night and day. And they move all those people up in the suburbs. You know, they move. That's why I don't want to live in the southwest section of Atlanta, because that's where they move them all. They move all those people from the projects, Carver Homes and HL Homes or Hill, whatever. They moved them all up in East Point. Not all of them went to East Point, but like that section of Atlanta. And it's just as raggedy, Monroe. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? Where do all these people come from? They displace people and they put them in deplorable situations in housing. That's why. And you're going to concentrate people in certain areas, botch them up. And it's not just in Atlanta, it's all over the place. It's been like that. It's been like that. This ain't something. This ain't new. Urbanization. When they wanted, when you look at some old episode like Good Times, they was talking about that. When they was moving, it was like, oh, we finally moved out of Caprini Hills, and they were moving, and they all bought a house, and they was like, where you living at? Me too. And man, they never continued that story. When Good Times ended, they didn't continue. Okay, what happened to the Evans family? And Verona, Valona, what happened to them? Nobody ever told that side of the story. That would be an interesting follow up storyline to make, fanfare script to make. Cause see, you have to understand. Now, I'm not from Chicago. I've been to Chicago one time, but that Cabrini Hills, they tore that crap down. That was one of the first housing projects of the United States, I believe, and that was like in the 70s. They were ones to modernize. They call it modernization, but it's nothing but gentrification. And they displaced black folks. Same thing. This been going on every year, every century. Boom, boom, boom. So now here it is. We're not in a, let me tell you, we're not in a recession yet. Well, I mean, we are, but it ain't, let me tell you, it's going to be an act of God, a strength of God for something to turn around. But we have to be realistic. We're going to have to be realistic. We're going to have to be diligent, due diligence on our part of what we want or what we're gonna do to survive. Yeah, I'm fortunate, but you know, that's why I work the way I work, and I know it's not good. People say, when are you gonna sleep? When are you gonna get, and I think that's one of my biggest stress. It's because, it's kind of hard coming home and just kind of like really knowing here. That's probably my fault to some extent. Because there's some people they do want, they want to get to know me, but it's kind of hard when you get burnt in the past, with people and you're trying to get to know them and then just dealing with a lot of foolishness. But I guess I just have to find more ways of being happy and having some sort of gratitude, which I am grateful for things. So I need to not always feel sad or depressed. And all I know is this, and I have to take more heed, is to be grateful for the people that I come across in life, whether it's digital, whether it's on YouTube, because most of the time it is on YouTube, I guess. And I guess at times I come on here and I guess people say, oh, that's what I love about you. You keeping it real and, you know, trying to show more of a vulnerable side. Okay, now this is my vulnerable side, and I think about it. Do whatever that makes you feel good. Yeah, I know, Avon, but how do you know? How do I know what makes me happy? That's the thing. I don't know. It's not about not being happy. It's just the fact of being alone. I mean, that's the not living alone. I mean, I always, it's easy to, there's no between being alone, being alone, and being lonely. It's just the fact, like I said, going to work and going to work and going to work and, try to do little things, develop new habits, learning new skills. But it's like nobody, it's like not having anyone. That's the thing. At least before I was doing, what was I used to do? I was doing like, going out, like they had meetup.com and, they had these different groups. And, I would go to these different meetup groups and, you're right. Thank you, Erica. don't think you have found your passion. You're right, Connie. I don't know. Is it passion or is it purpose? I could have a passion for talking and passion for well what I used to do when I was you know I had passion of walking and just going in nature and just exploring new things. But I think it's probably more purpose, I guess. And what's so funny is where's that book? Oh, it's on the desk somewhere else. I'm just getting so frustrated of like trying to figure out what is my purpose. What is it that I was supposed to do? See, at least I just feel like I'm just going through the motions of things. I'm not saying that some people have maybe not having a child, not having anyone or whatever, but it's just kind of hard. I don't know. It just seems kind of really hard. Look at look at you last night at Amazon. You're work your way up in the matter of 3 weeks. What did I do to work my way up? What did I do, Erica? I don't even know what I did. What did I do? I guess with everything with this things being closed and with things being closed down and it's kind of hard to yeah, just yeah, social distancing and everything else, but you know, see at least if I was see at least if not so much physical church, you command attention to yourself. I don't really know what you mean, Erica, but I know we probably talk about it tomorrow. I guess one thing I could say that I'm really grateful for is I'm grateful to y'all. Y'all more than my subscribers. I don't say, oh, y'all subscribers. Because I guess one thing not having a big, huge channel is because I'm able to know when Avon, Dorian, or Lynn, Erica, Connie, and who else I'm missing? Romeo and Jeremy 1 and Jeremy 2, because there's two Jeremys. Michelle. I guess because I'm able, Tony, if you out there. I guess I am Beverly. I don't want to miss nobody. The best now. guess maybe coming on YouTube and the matter of these 3 years. No, well, it's 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. A lot of people are married on internationally and miserable. Yeah, yeah, that's true. But my whole thing is, I always said to myself one time, I said, I rather, my whole thing is, I'd rather be someone's parent than to be anybody's wife. But I don't bother trying to live with, I don't bother trying anymore with people. I just live for me. Oh, yeah, you do have to live for yourself. That's what I always said to myself. I'm just gonna, eventually downsize and want to be one of those people who, not be a nomad, live on the grid, live off the grid, they call it. But I just, you know, they always say that I have less time on this earth than I am when it's time to go. As you get older, things, perspectives, and things starts to change a little bit. You know, life is not guaranteed. We don't know what will happen in the life. I just want to feel that I know. I just want to feel that I've lived my purpose, and I just have to learn what are the things to be. Will make me happy, I guess. And I think I'm just gonna start taking a little bit more risk and chances when it's all said and done. What happened to Jeremy? Usually I have a moderator on here, but I'm gonna have to call Jeremy, see how she's doing. I hope everything's going well. Usually she's on here, but it's kind of late too. It's like 1:25 a.m. And y'all 8 people, y'all still hanging in there too. Well, oh well. I think I'm gonna end the stream now. I've been here 1:53:46. I figure, I'm off tomorrow, so thank goodness. It's Labor Day, but I'll probably still do some things, do my little gigs, and most certainly clean this house, at least do something. That'll probably make me feel better. I guess it's once I get out of this little depression mood or whatever. I think that's what the indicative of my house is, that I'm not feeling so happy, that I'm not even taking care of myself, of surroundings and myself. But I'm still taking my high blood pressure. I haven't taken. Did I take this today? I don't think I took my high blood pressure, and then my diabetes meds. I only got a week left, so I gotta thank God I have insurance. That we get insurance started from day one last week, so I'll probably make some doctor's appointments Erica, the cats are gone. I I don't know what happened to them. They ran away. I think somebody, I think they, wherever they were going, I think somebody finally took them. I don't see now one cat. I don't see Mittens. I don't see Socks. The other cat I call Cinnamon. I think, I saw them about 3 days ago, and it was somebody gave, then I saw three more new kittens. I was like, where the hell y'all came from? And I came back home from work. I came back home from work. I have the bowls outside, in the back. Every time I used to come downstairs at 7, 7:30, 8, they'd be coming from wherever. They know when dinner, well, breakfast or dinner. And I haven't seen them at all. So Lynn, last night, when I mentioned it, she said somebody probably came and got them. Somebody probably called and they probably got picked up. So I don't know what happened. I don't even see not one of them, not one kitten, not one cat. And I know, now Mittens and Socks, they've been around me from day one. They know how to come back home. But I haven't seen any of them. That made me so sad because I was in the dang Aldi's and I went and saw some cat thing and hey Jeremy, you coming in all late? I'm gonna stay on here for a few more minutes since you came in. Oh no, no, I don't need no puppies. Nope, I don't need no puppy. Between me working all these two jobs and maybe really three if you count the surveys and the gig on the other gigs, they probably was like, dang, she ain't coming back home anytime soon. So they probably just picked up and left. No, that's what happened with the kittens and the cat. I guess somebody finally got tired of them and probably called they probably called animal control and they probably took them. If I don't see them tomorrow, if I don't see now one of them tomorrow, they gone. And I got like a whole bag of cat food too that was even open. I'm gonna try to put. See, I don't want to put no cat food out there because there's these other strange cats to be coming around in the back. But yep, they gone. No, I don't want no puppy because the last time I had a dog, when I lived in Marietta, it was this old white man. He had a dog, and I said, "Oh, he's so cute." It was like a black chow mix. And I was like, that was another one I got free. And then I was like, oh, and then I didn't know how to train the dog, and I left the dog home one time, and he tore up my house, tore up my apartment. Then he ran out the door, followed me. I said, "Go back home. You need to," and I had to catch that bus, and I could not be late for work. And I went to work, and I was worried all day. I was like, "Oh my God, where is he? What happened?" And then someone found the dog in the apartment complex. I lived in an apartment complex at the time on Franklin Road, and someone found him. And then whatever they did in those 3 days he was missing, they trained him, because and then the apartment complex said I couldn't keep the dog because I was supposed to pay $500 deposit. You live in apartments, supposed to have a deposit and stuff. And then the dog, I would leave from work and he would be barking or whatever. People would complain I had to get rid of him. I took him to a pet hotel with all his stuff, his little bowl and little things I bought for him with a note and left him in the pet place, and I said, please take care of him. And I said, I was sad ever since. So I said to myself, I would never get another pet. But then I saw those, like I said, I got mittens and socks when they were little kittens right up the street. Somebody had them. And I said, oh, they're so cute, And I said, I can't split them up. Let me take both of them. And anything turned and multiplied to five, four, Then he multiplied, got birthed again. And then I ain't say I had 20 cats, but, now they just went away. The only way how I have me a puppy, Erica, it would have to be a miracle. I probably need some companion, but which yeah, work from home, work outside from home and stuff. That takes a lot, though. That takes a lot. My mother with those cats she got in her house and those three dogs she got, they are a lot. They're a lot. So, but if the cats come home tomorrow, I'll be shocked. But if they don't come back tomorrow, then they gone. Yeah, puppies do need love too. I have to think about that, Erica. But I have to think of what kind of breed do I need. Um, I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe one at a time. Maybe we'll see. We have to see what happens with the cats. If the cats come home, at least two of them need to come back home. At least I don't know where they went. I don't know how they just go up and leave like that. But yeah, puppies need love too. I love puppies. I love dogs. And the good thing about it is with Wayfair, they offer pet insurance too. They even have it where I can get pet insurance for like real cheap. They even have pet insurance. Well, think about it. When I if I do it, I'll surprise y'all and let y'all know. But I have to really, really, really seriously um consider that because I don't want to be, yeah, I'll be working from home, and then most of the time, well, not most of the time, it's really I have to see because I don't want to be one of those people that need neglect because I think that's what happened. Oh, hold on a second, I'll be back. Ow. I'm back. So Erica, you have to work tomorrow. You off tomorrow too. Who has to work tomorrow? I mean, other than doing gig work or gig jobs. Oh, you have to work tomorrow? Oh, well, Jeremy. Where you work at now? Yeah, no, Erica, because you wouldn't even be up at 1:38 in the morning. I know I wouldn't be up at this time. That's for sure. That is for sure. All right. Anybody need a job? Let me know. Oh, Pilgrim's Pride. You went back to the chicken plant? Isn't that a chicken Pilgrim's Pride? I thought you ain't Pilgrim's Pride a chicken place? You worked at a chicken. Didn't you work at a chicken plant, Jeremy? Did you ever? I don't understand. Did you ever PPP? Oh, Wayfair. Wayfair's hiring. Amazon's hiring. Wayfair is doing some big time hiring. I was asking, I was curious if they was hiring because of the coronavirus, but they said no. They so their business grew so much. I was like, dang, I wish I bought that stock when it was Man, let me tell you what happened with the US Census. So I went to log on to check my application status and they denied. First I was approved. Then when I log back in, they gonna claim I never responded to the offer, so they ended it. But I was like, what they talking about? I never ended no. They never called me. They claim they did. They only called me. They claim they called me, and then when I try to call the office, it was like back and forth. But let me tell you, my neighbor next door worked at the census, taking knocking on people's doors and stuff like that. And my other coworker who worked with me with Amazon, she worked doing the census. The one who worked with me at Amazon, she said she quit because let me tell you, it's not continuous employment. It's only based upon need. Like for instance, um, they may need to take a census at this particular apartment complex or whatever. So it's not like it's continuous or anything. It all depends if they need you, and you could be going. I guess they at one point I thought they was trying to you could work anywhere around your house, but no, I applied for the census and then after that I was like bump it. I ain't got time to be going back and forth, in terms of the office and stuff. But the census is supposed to end at the end of September, at the end of this month. So it's either supposed to be it's supposed to be ending soon, but it's not. You ain't working you're not really getting a regular check like that. It ain't like that. It all depends on where they need people and if they needed the census to be taken at this particular area because they didn't take it or whatever. But and then a lot of people they're not even answering the door. It's not as easy as it seemed though. But that's all right. It looked glorious about the pay, like, oh, you pay 20 something dollars an hour, blah blah blah, this that or whatever. But you ain't working months, put it that way. The only way how you working months is if you was hired maybe last year, but you're not working like continuously. That's the thing. You may be working like a couple of days here and there, but it ain't like that. It is not like that. And I still don't. And the people who supposed to input with the data and stuff like that, the administrative work, that's like a certain states. But there are places hiring for some things dealing with the election. That's temporary too. It was called blue.org and following up people with the campaign donations and stuff like that. They were hiring, paying $25 an hour. I applied to that. I ain't heard nothing back yet. I applied to that, but I haven't heard anything. So I figured they probably, no, you ain't missing anything. Trust me, you are not missing out on nothing. Let me tell you, you're better off working at Amazon and get at least you're getting $15 an hour. But let me tell you, what I came across, I was like, dang, I'm gonna have to tell y'all about that another time because I don't want to go too long. But Amazon, and especially if you know that it's Amazon Fresh with the groceries, um, and you could flex. Flex means you choose your schedule every week. They pay $20 an hour. I was like, what? Some people I work with at Amazon, when I be sitting on that little bucket and making sure I'm checking people temperatures, there's people coming in there making $20 an hour, and they choose their own schedule. I was like, what? You mean to say when that? Because when I chose that permanent schedule, that set schedule, there people getting paid $20. In some states, it's more than that. But it's not the same like it used to be, in regards to when I worked at that one in Smyrna with those packages, and you sort the packages and stuff like that. They now they trying to get people to go permanent. They want people to go perm and choose a set schedule because if they doing the flex, sometimes Amazon will pay more because if they need people and they like nobody's not really they're not getting the numbers they need for people to work, sometimes they'll pay a little bit more. And you're only working like 5 hours. You can work five. You can work any number of hours you want, as long as they say, for instance, you cannot work more than 50 hours this week. You can work up to 50 hours, and some of those pay, and some paying an extra $5 more. So I'm there all day. I'm there 11 hours on some days. Some people are getting paid $20 an hour, and I'm not doing nothing. Y'all know I ain't be doing nothing but sitting on that little yellow crate box, plastic crate thing, walking around and stuff. But I never understood. My reasoning was I didn't think I was going to get hired at Wayfair, so that's why I chose that permanent schedule because I didn't know, what kind of schedule they're going to have and how busy it was. But they constantly need people. So Amazon, they had a lot of jobs. I could tell you, depending on where you live, they have a whole bunch of jobs up in California. But all over the country, if you're looking to work at Amazon and you want to do flex means you don't have a set schedule. You just choose what hours, what days you want to work, as long as you work a minimum of 3 days in a month. So as long as you work 3 days, that's it. And they pay in 15 minimum. You're getting at least $15 minimum. And then you get the bonus $5. And it will tell you on your schedule when you choose your schedule, and it will tell you plus $5. But it's been like that. At least the one in where I work at, they would have been an extra $5. But some of them pay $20 anyway. So there were some locations in Atlanta. I can only speak for Atlanta. There were some locations when I chose which one I wanted to work for. It was East Point, Brazelton, Lawrenceville, Duluth, and I was like, okay, which one I want to work? And they had flex. I did not know that it was like that. I was like, dang. So I can't change my schedule right now. Cause I keep hearing you have to wait 90 days. I've been there a little bit over a month now. Then some people say you got to speak to the manager or HR. They don't really have HR. It's nothing but a bot. So I was like, so I don't even know how to change my schedule. But for now, I'm just gonna keep what I got. I'm gonna keep my schedule because I want to at least finish training with Wayfair, finish nesting, get good, get my foot in the door, get things, going before I decide to do anything with Amazon. But I always know I have Amazon to fall back on just in case. But I don't want to but I'm gonna do both for now. But if it gets to be physically challenging, then I'll choose which one I'm not gonna deal with. So, but like I said, Wayfair only pays 14, but that's at level 1. So they say they pay more as you get skilled up. So they not. It's way different than I could tell you with Concentrics. Concentrics is hiring like crazy too. And Concentrics, there was another person in my class for Wayfair. She worked at Concentrics as well, but she was working with PNC Bank. She wasn't doing the Apple, but yeah, got an email the other day that Sykes was hiring. SKYES. Every week they seem to have I guess every week they was hiring, and they need to hire people to take calls for the health enrollment. But it's this time of the year. This time of the year, a lot of positions that's going to come up is going to be for those third party outsourcing companies like Concentrix, T-Tech, um, even that raggedy CGS. They looking for people to work for Lenovo technical support because that's what I was supposed to be going. That's where I was supposed to go to last year when they said I was rehirable, and I was supposed to go. I was supposed to start training with Lenovo back in last year, but they keep telling me, "Well, no, the training's delayed. No, I don't know," and they never knew nothing. But I think they were lying. Turn around the HR person with CGS computer systems or whatever. It was this. They said he was no longer there. I still keep in contact with this one lady who works with Concentrics. That was the one I was working with Sprint that I was telling y'all about. And because now it's T-Mobile, so you are a true hustler, T. I know that's too much. People can say you keep working so much. That's why you can't find nobody. You work. How you gonna find somebody now with the coronavirus going on? Okay, Eric, I knew you gonna be mhm. Well, text me your number. You got my number. Text me. My phone is dead, but text me so I can have your number because I cannot find that email for nothing, Erica. I don't know what happened. So text me before you get off on the phone, and then when I plug up my phone, it'll pop up. You have a great okay. Around what time so I could know because I don't want the phone to be turned off and then it'll be dead or something. Well, I'll probably do some of my gig work tomorrow with oh, also I'm back on with Rody again, y'all. Remember I did Rody? I only did one assignment. That was when I got that $56 for that one job I did with Rody. So, okay. But don't call me too late because, I got to get my beauty sleep to be at work the next day on Tuesday. Only reason why I'm still up at night because I know I'm off tomorrow. Other than that, I would not be up. So Connie, where you from? I haven't. Yeah, I got 9 people in here. All right, Erica, you have a good night. Chat with you tomorrow. Ruthie, what you up to? You live, girl. You probably live in right up the street or up the road from me. How did you come across my channel anyway? May I ask? I don't remember. Cause you know, Lithonia is technically that McDonald's that's up on North Deshawn. They consider that Lithonia. And then as you drive down North Deshawn, going to South Deshawn, and then at some point you in city of Stonecrest. I was like, you know, Lithonia. Didn't Lithonia change the city of Stonecrest, or did they keep Lithonia as the name? Oh, well, I appreciate that. Well, good to know. See, if you live in Lithonia, we need to do a meet and greet one day. I probably bumped into you and don't even know it. You probably noticed me before I noticed anybody else. I'd be walking. One time I was in dang Publix up there in Johns Creek and um we also I was all over the place. Oh, I know where you at. Off of Young, you ain't that far from me, and that mean you about 3, 4 miles, maybe 5. I know exactly where you at. Matter of fact, I'll be driving up there tomorrow, all up in that area when I do my survey gigs. Yep, they sure did. Right up there, Panola. That's them. When you drive to Panola Road, part of that is city of Stonecrest. I wish they'd stop putting some nice looking stores over there and not make it look so raggedy. Every time I turn around, I say we don't need no more Dollar Tree. No, not Dollar Tree. We don't need no Dollar General um and no more raggedy auto places that be closed. I was like, see, that's what I be talking about. They be trying to make the area suppress, and then when white folks get tired of living in Decatur and paying all that high taxes, then they want to move back, and then they trying to build up some fancy apartments and stuff. They need to build, and they need to also put that um, modern train rail somewhere because at one point they was going to build that MARTA train rail that's supposed to go to down Panola near Stonecrest Mall. Because I sure wish they have a public. Oh, you too? I need to clean the house too. Shoot, I need to start one room at a time. They're building all these 200, $300,000 on. The reason because the reason they doing that is because I thought they built it. I know they got that Amazon facility off of West Park Place. You know where I'm at. I thought they was also going to be putting I could be wrong. I was thinking they were gonna build an Amazon facility over there eventually, or I thought they was building one. Anytime they start building up stuff, trust me, something else be done. So that's why I'm keeping. That's why I'm staying where I'm at because it's gonna change. 10 years and stuff. It's a lot of development and land all up on where you at, especially where you at. They got so much going on. So you have to look at what See, I used to attend those meetings that the Cab County be having. Anytime they need permits or building stuff, I will be going there. And I haven't. I'm going it twice, but that was because they were building at Amazon. They was calling it Rocket Secrets Rocket. They didn't want to say Amazon. They wasn't telling nobody about it. But they also wanted to build these apartment complex or something up on Rockbridge Road and somewhere. But that's kind of in between Gwinnett and DeKalb County. So anytime people want to build stuff, and you have to look out for those signs. Anytime you start seeing a lot of signs and stuff, so Amazon be trying to, because City of Stonecrest, they put a bid in for the Amazon headquarters, and they said if they were so let me tell you, these dumb Negroes that dig Stonecrest and DeKalb County sometimes get on my damn nerves. They be pocketing that money. See, we be worried about white folks be trying to, steal from the community. Sometimes it be our own people. That dang Stan Lee, he was the one of the representatives in District 4 where I live at, and then District 5 and 3 where you live. There's so much damn corruption. They always be trying to that's they always be trying to pocket their money all the time. All the previous DeKalb County CEOs, they be always be trying. That Stan Lee, that dumbass, he up there in Vegas. I don't know if you know much about the politics in DeKalb County, especially where you at, but yeah, those council members and stuff for DeKalb County, they be having investments and construction companies, and when they putting bids in for those housing developments and new stuff they want to build up, that dang fool came up in Water's Edge and now it's Clubhouse. Well, every time election come, they up in there. We wanna build up development. I asked them a question why y'all keep well y'all keep dirtying up the county when I bring businesses to do business in the county. Y'all, he said that too. That dumb fat asshole talking about he always trying to bring expansion into Cab County and businesses because and but he said y'all keep putting trash on the ground and don't know how to clean up the highway. Maybe we bring a better business. Nigga, who you talking to all crazy like that? You know. And then it was that other woman, Barnes. Her last name is Barnes. These people held office in DeKalb County for years, years. Shoo. They ran that Stonecrest area, and where you live, they ran that place down to the ground. They ran it down to the ground. I heard it was real nice houses and stuff. There's still some nice houses over there up in the cut, but a lot of them had something to do with that. He moved to Vegas and built a strip malls and strip clubs. They took all the black folks' money. They wanted to vote for me on this. That's why I say it's not always good to always vote black. You be trying to vote black and be supportive in the community, but they be the worst. They be doing the worst. At least white folks ran DeKalb County. You know, I ain't trying to say they not crooks either, but shoot, at least they did a little bit of something in the communities. You know, sometimes black folks, we get too bougie and get too thinking because we driving in Mercedes and all these expensive cars and have these expensive homes and houses and and try to live exclusive, they turn around and screw your own people. It's not always about race when it comes to opportunities. It's always about class. They think because they got a little bit of money, they look down on other black folks that if they think they ain't got nothing. See, that's why it always, it ain't always about race. It's always about, you know, higher income, higher class. That dang Stan Watson, that's his name. Stan Watson used to be the commissioner, District 4. And Claudia Barnes, she's the other one. They ain't in office no more. They held that office for the state and the DeKalb County for years. Yep, years ago the air was all white. Yeah, yep, that's what happened. White flight. They left what's the other area? Um what's that other one? You know what I'm talking about. I can't think of it. Yeah. Avondale Estates and all that stuff, baby. Stone Mountain, even though people told me they said, well, white folks, they still live there. They live here too. They still live in Stone Mountain. And but a lot of those commissioners, former commissioners, they ran DeKalb County for years. They ran it for years. And they turned around, they moved to Vegas. One moved to Vegas. I know that Stan Watson, he moved to Vegas. They all had these ethical charges against them, stealing money, just like the previous mayors of Atlanta. They were doing the same thing. Not the women one, but the men. One of them went to. I used to go to Ray of Hope Christian Church. Well, that one, and I also go to Victory of the World Church, and so I kind of go to two places, not at the same time, but two. But I haven't yet. Now that they don't have any physical services anymore. But they used to attend Ray of Hope, but then they went to some of those other big churches up in Decatur and Lithonia. What's the one that came from Houston and yep, KKJ presence. Yeah, the Cap County, they full of crooks. They run the county down to the ground. Ran it down to the ground. I mean, they were crooks when the white folks was taking over, but shit, when black folks took it over, they took it over, and it was worse. It was worse. DeKalb County used to be really nice. They said, they had one of the better schools, but that was in the '90s, I guess. But they ran DeKalb County. That's why certain cities in DeKalb County, like Brookhaven, they used to be in DeKalb County. They broke off and became its own city. They was like, bump that. That's why City of Stonecrest is its own city. They wanted to break away from DeKalb County. And then Sandy Springs, that used to be DeKalb County. They broke away and became its own city. Um, Decatur, when they have that little colorful signs that says city, there's DeKalb County schools, and then there's um um DeKalb County schools, and then there's City of Decatur schools. So I just moved to Stone Mountain. Oh, you in Stone Mountain too, KJ Prisons? Everybody, where in Stone Mountain you live at? You ain't gotta tell me your exact address, but Yeah, let me tell you, the County could be better than what it is for sure, but you have to be active in the communities in terms of what's going on. That's I mean, you have to be. Cause let me tell you, they moving straight up on 78. They moving right up in that Memorial Drive. You better watch out when this economy hit. They're gonna depress it to the point where um they're gonna want their little piece of opportunities too. Downtown Stone. I don't know what downtown Stone Mountain. You talk about Stone Mountain Village. Just tell me the major crossroads. I could tell you. I could tell you. I know. I have an idea where you probably at though. Stone Mountain ain't so big. I mean, cause there's parts of Stone Mountain right outside of Stone Mountain Park itself. Hoo How and downtown Decatur, not Decatur. Um, Stone Mountain Village. They starting behind the library. There's a lot of libraries. Which one? You thought I'm actually I'm saying is it Redan Road? What's the name of the road? I ain't gonna look for you, don't worry. No people. Stone Mountain have at least more than one library, you know that, right? So there's Panola Road, that's Stone Mountain, well parts of it before you get into Lithonia. But you know what though? Wherever one could afford to, especially live here in Atlanta, wherever you could afford to live and you like it, stay. It may not be if it's not what you want in terms of, especially if you live in a house. Don't give it up. See, that's what I think. But probably black folks we gave up land, gave up neighborhoods because we wanted to live something we thought was brand new, and say, "Oh, I want to," And all along, oh, okay, it's just as I thought. I know where you. I know where you at. I know exactly where you at. That's a little quaint area I like to call it, Stone Mountain Village, with all those houses and stuff over in the back over there. That's a real nice that I ain't gonna say it's a real nice area, but that's an area that has a lot of opportunity. That main street and all that stuff. Even though it's not as built up compared to other main streets like other cities, it's gonna get there. It'll get there. You know, it will get there. So Connie, KJ, Jeremy, what is it? It's 2:39. I've been on here for 2 hours. I should have cooked me some dinner. I'm hungry. I would drink this wine, but I'm not gonna do that. I bought this from Aldi's. Look, I showed it earlier to people who was on here. $3.49. Hey Jody Con. Everybody coming on here. Pacific Fruit Vineyards. Sweet pineapple. That even sounds good. I don't really drink, but I bought this and I bought this in sweet peach. Dang, I'm so curious to see what this tastes like. I should open it up. Yeah, I ain't gonna open it up. Not now. I'll open it up. I'll do this later. Maybe about Don't always sleep on these cheaper wines that you see in the store. I can't even see. This is a seasonal item at Aldi, so I saw and I went and picked it up and I saw it. I was like, ooh, that seems interesting. This had this one girl in front of me. She bought like she probably bought the whole remaining thing that was remaining in the section. Cause she had at least about one, two, three. I want to say she had like 8 bottles of the peach and this sweet pineapple. She bought multiple bottles, so she must, I guess. I wonder if she was trying to sell it. I don't think you can't sell alcohol online like that. Nope, you can't. I don't think you can. Yeah, this was a seasonal item. Good evening, good morning. All right, y'all 9 people, y'all hanging in there. It's going 2:13. I need to go to bed. So unless y'all have anything else y'all want to talk about, I'm gonna get off in the next 3 minutes. Give me some thumbs up too. Some of y'all need to come on the stream. You go ahead now. If y'all don't go on this song, I'm gonna see anybody want to come. Okay, see who want to come on and chat with me. If you want to chat, hey Brian, hi Tyler. All right, I don't recognize some of these names now. I know some of y'all probably been watching me for a long time, so hit the subscribe button. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers so I could go ahead and start doing some Zoom meetings. Well, this is what I bought at Aldi's at that Pacific Fruit Vineyards sweet pineapple, and I also got sweet peach too. I have never tasted these before, so it says seasonal, so they have very limited. If you ever see something seasonal and is limited, it's always good to at least get it and try it and see. Especially with the with the holidays coming up, it's kind of hard. They just passed a law in Georgia to deliver alcohol. I thought you was always able to deliver alcohol in Georgia. Well, that's because of the coronavirus. Because these businesses, they need to generate income, so of course they're going to pass laws to keep the economy going. Since so many places you can't go into, well, you go into, but you have to wear a mask. But everybody taking advantage of um, doing deliveries. But there was a company one time. It was an app that used to deliver alcohol to business to residents, and that was always it was a company that was doing that at one time. People will order cases of alcohol or they order cases of wine or whatever, and it was an app, and it was another YouTube subscriber. He used to do that. He was living in New York before he moved to Tampa. Y'all know who I'm talking about. What's his name? He would go to the businesses like the liquor places, mini bar. Okay. And they wanted people to deliver um they wanted people to deliver alcohol to the house or whatever. But there was an app. It was an exclusive app. It wasn't just Uber Eats or nothing like that. But it was another app. It was only around for a minute, but then and you would just go to pick up wine and liquor from places, and people would order it, and you would deliver it. So that was a good thing. Yep. So the app that I had just recently downloaded. I've done Roadie once, but I could now do Roadie if I wanted to. But they had an assignment with Roadie going to Home Depot, but it was in Lenox, and I was like, they needed someone to go to Home Depot up there in Lenox Road, up there in Midtown, to pick up some things and deliver it to someone that was really close. But yep. So I'm still in the app game, but I'm not doing Uber Eats. You know, I've been way beyond doing Uber Eats and Grubhub and, you know, Instacart and all that, that way down the way. But I still got one more app in my pocket, which is Roadie. And Roadie's changed a lot since I first did them. I was a customer first. I had a file cabinet to be delivered to my house, and then I did it one job. And it was like, I still got that thing right on my app. $56 for that one assignment. I know I must have got a good tip from that too, because that wasn't all just, regular thing with no tip. So that was pretty interesting. I'm surprised Roadie has now picked up because I just took the video test or review. Roadie got Amazon. Roadie got Amazon. Roadie does Walmart grocery deliveries now. I know. You see how my poor Kia was put down to the ground? That's why you have to be kind of strategic in terms of doing those apps. But that's why I do that survey, Connie. I don't know if I do survey. Have you signed up for that? You should. Let me see if I could put it in the link if you're ever interested in doing it. Because they got a lot of jobs for that. So you could download it, but let me get the link. Hold on a second. This is my to-go app that I do a lot. That's in the link survey. That's the one I was talking with Erica about. That, and they have a lot of assignments right around the house, right there where we live at too. Anybody interested in signing up? Just click on that link. If you're interested, just click on that link. I'm gonna start doing more videos about it. Hey, Monica Davis, y'all just jumping on here. So I'm gonna start doing more videos talking about survey. But that link I put in the chat Thursday, I was doing Zifty. Put that company in. Yeah. Girl, remember, I'm a dress Zifty. I'm curious. You should come on my link, Connie. Come on in the chat so I can hear your voice. You you ain't gotta show your face though. Yeah, so survey.com, you do little stores here and there, but it adds up though because a lot of those stores be all together. So all right, I put the invite link. Man, that damn Zifty, they got on my damn nerves. And then that damn fool got the nerve. That was last year. Got the nerve to tell me, uh, it ain't benefiting you because you don't do that many hours. No, y'all want me to drive like I'm full time. They, thank you. They want me to do like they want to be Zifty wanted you to be exclusive and work like you an employee. Cause see, those drivers with Zifty, prior to them changing it over to 1099, they were employees at one time. They would pay them like a flat rate per hour, and whatever tips you got, you get to keep. And they had a schedule. And then they changed over, when Uber Eats came about and stuff like that, it took away a lot of their business per se. And then they couldn't afford to do, they couldn't afford to have them as employees. That's how Zifty changed over from employee to 1099. But they wanted you to go. I mean, they was paying what? I want to say it was like maybe $10 an hour. I think it was like $10 an hour they would pay people plus whatever tips you got. But even then, I don't even recall if anyone ever spoke about them paying out the tips. But I knew it was at least $10 an hour. They pay you per hour. Girl, they told me the same thing. They wanted me to work 50 hours. Yeah, they be crazy. Talking about you not making this much. No, y'all want, I tricked them. See, I already knew their little algorithm. I would stick around right on Brookhaven at that Thai restaurant. I'll be right in that little area and I'll be literally working it. And I'll make like $80 in like 3 hours. And I ain't put no whole bunch of miles on my car. And after that, I was like, oh, time to go home. And I, made my little $80, $85 in that short period of time and go about my business. But they will always be popping up in the mornings. We need someone to work on the lunch crowd. I'm not going downtown, straight downtown, Peachtree Street, downtown to do no lunch. Nope. Not in all that type of traffic, no parking and stuff and whatever. I did my thing in the evenings and I did it on the week and I did it on the weekends and I did Grubhub and pretty much that was it and maybe those grocery delivery ones or whatever. But y'all remember I used to work from like 6 in the morning, didn't get home till 11 midnight. I had my in between breaks. I would go to the gym and stuff like that. Between that rush hour. But it was fun when it lasted. I can tell you that. I still kept my records of how much I made with them in terms of the deliveries each day. One day I'm gonna open that up and read it just to see. That's curious. But yeah, Zifty, they wanted you to work like you a damn employee for real. And then on a Sunday, I would make over like $100. And I'm not even counting the money from the other apps. I'm just talking about with one app, I would make 100, maybe a little bit over $100, and then I add the other ones. So I did pretty good, but that was exhausting after a while. It was so exhausting. It was like redundant. Zifty is worse in Atlanta. I don't want to give any of the food as worth it. Hey, Lady J, you new too. Mm. All right, y'all. Make sure y'all put the thumbs up so I could well, DoorDash and Uber Eats. If you listen to the main people who's still doing it, rather, they making pretty good money, but you have to concentrate on your area. Like when I did it, I always went around Dunwoody and Brookhaven and maybe that residential part of Buckhead. But a lot of those restaurants, of course, they're not open for business. So I don't know. In my opinion, those other food apps, it's just gotten too saturated. It's like the main restaurants that I used to do. It was not no fast food. I live in Decatur. Okay, you down the road from me. Y'all live close. Boy, I wish I had a meet and greet. I would stay right around downtown. I would have to scope it out, Lady J. Like downtown Decatur, where that noodle place, noodle man, that was the name of the restaurant. It was Noodle. They people would constantly order groceries with them. I mean groceries, food from them. You know, the rates are so low now in terms of pay. Now the majority of the tips, like Uber Eats, they be trying to and Grubhub and DoorDash, they be trying to talk about the tips and stuff. I just know for me, I made the same amount of money that you hear people advertising on. When they talk about I made 140, 120 and stuff like that, I made that in 4 hours that most people do that all day. So to me, that was just too much wear and tear. I mean, like I said, when you do it for 3 years and stuff, continuously for 3 years, and maybe do it for four, well, I didn't get to the 4 year mark. I think I did 3.5, and then that was it. Then after that, it was just too wear and tear on me, and I just got deactivated and stuff. Not because I wasn't making no money, because after a while, you get tired of, especially when you go to certain areas, black folks, Indian people, whatever, and they don't want to tip, and you be working and, sweating and breaking your back, and people just don't, you know, no, just act entitled. That wears on you after a while. It worn out on me. Well, I work from home, so like I was telling other people late earlier, I work from home and I work for Amazon, and I just started training. So it's not working from home. It's not well. It depends on the company. A lot of these companies, especially these work from home jobs, when you work in customer service and things like that, because so many people are working from home and so many people telecommuting, and kids are um not in physically school, virtual training and stuff. A lot of these customer service jobs, technical support, and people calling in, and all the wait time and all that, it kind of opened up a lot of those opportunities in terms of jobs. But the only thing about it is that they not paying. They pay 14, maybe. Amazon. At least the minimum is 15, and Whole Foods and Amazon in terms of they always be hiring. I'm gonna talk about that in another day, one day when I share my screen and see if anyone ever was interested about working Amazon. But the only thing about working these warehouse jobs with Amazon, you have to choose one. Like where I work at, the one with the Amazon Fresh with the groceries. I'm the social distance person, so I stand up in this spot all day, and I'll take y'all with me next time I go to work when I'm standing there for 11 hours, checking people's temperature, making sure they ain't got nothing going on. Um, Picking the groceries and stuff. That's you walking. Trust me, I got my Fitbit. You'll be walking, filling those groceries like beep. That's pretty interesting. When I did it, it's pretty good until you get into that damn freezer or the chill. I'm like, oh my god, you gotta put this big old suit thing on and a mask and the gloves and the warmer. So it's not. It could be that part could be a little bit challenging, but working at Amazon, if you do Amazon Fresh or if you work at Whole Food or where you do the groceries, that's interesting. You're not you're not gonna be as micromanaged by a person per se. It's that app, that thing scanner, you know. That could be interesting. It's not too I would this what my suggestion would be. If I was a person with knowing with the recession coming up and things may not be as good, but because in the housing situation and all this kind of stuff, you don't have to necessarily start work at a corporate job per se, because a lot of these corporate jobs really don't seem to exist. I heard Amazon Prime drivers work like slaves and the warehouse is worse. Pete Sanders. I can't speak about the drivers, but I know as a warehouse associate working for Amazon, well, what I do, if you hear my story about it, I worked at Amazon twice. Let me tell you what I used to do at Amazon. Then I'm in my video thing. When I first started working at Amazon, I was an independent contractor, going to the warehouse, pick up the packages, and then delivered it. That was pretty good. Now, I was still an Amazon associate as an independent contractor until after I accepted the job with Amazon earlier the month. I've been working at Amazon for about a month and a couple weeks. Now, 3 years ago, I worked at Amazon at Smyrna, and that one was seasonal, part time, 1 o'clock in the morning, all the way till 5 a.m. in the morning. Y'all used to remember I used to come home, drive, and I used to talk about my Amazon experience. And I was sortation. The boxes come down the truck, and you had to sort the packages, and everybody was down as big as belt, and you constantly moving, walking up and down, lifting anywhere up to 50 pounds, or it could be little pamphlet packages or whatever. But it varies in boxes and size, and you would sort them, and then you had to finish doing that until everybody unloads that truck and sort it. And then they had the bell. So after 3 hours, they'll ring the bell. Dude, time to go on break. You had to literally like rush to go to the break room, rush to sign out and on your gun thing that you're on break. You had to be back exactly 15 minutes and stuff. You go to lunch, 30-minute lunch, and then if the truck was late, so it was a constant fast move. They told me it was permanent, and then it was just so much confusion. And then after that, I said, oh, I can't do this. So I resigned. Then I worked at Amazon. No, prior to that, I worked at Amazon from home in customer service. You had your own computer at the time. They didn't give me a computer. Matter of fact, I still got that same computer they mailed to me. They never told me when y'all want this back. And I never had no response from them. It's a Chromebook, but I can't do nothing with it. It's already programmed with Amazon. So anyway, I worked at Amazon from home initially. They wanted you to do the training. They said training was 5 weeks. That's what they said at first. The first week I got there, we were working from home. It was self-paced, self-training modules. Then they wanted you to take phone calls at the end of the week. I was like, I thought you said training was 5 weeks. No, they wanted you to not take no notes down. They wanted you to just go through their whole modules, do the whole thing. They had nobody to help, and they said, "Oh, if you have any questions, we're here to help." They didn't have no instructor led type of thing. How they didn't do it like that. It was so after that I said, "Y'all not gonna micromanage me. Y'all only paying $12 an hour. It ain't worth it." So I resigned from Amazon, work from home because they have different divisions. Then I worked at the warehouse in Smyrna at the end of the year when they was hiring because that's when they be really be needing people. They be hiring right around this time. They're gonna be having a whole bunch of jobs on their website that they be hiring. So after that, I resigned. Then I did these little gigs. Y'all know I did all these gigs. I worked at all these different raggedy companies, third party companies, and all that, all the whole 9 yards. Then here it is. I saw the position pop up for Amazon, and they was hiring. They hiring at the one in the facility in East Point. They hiring up there in Jefferson, which is near Brazelton, which is way up 85. Then they hiring at the one in Duluth, the one I work at, which is Amazon Fresh. That's with the groceries. And they have their brand new Amazon facility up the street from my house. That was my that was my goal. I'm trying to I wanted to work at the one straight up the street in how I live in Snellville area. Yeah, Pete, boy, we live near each other. I live in Stone Mountain, and Snellville is like 2 miles up the road. I live way off of West Park Place. Yes, Pete Sanders. Yes, they are hiring. The one that I work at, matter of fact, let me tell you, Pete. Send me your email. I'm gonna put my email in the chat. Send me an email because I want to tell you that. I don't want to say everything on this site. Send me your email. Please that this thing I hope I get your email because my dang sometimes I send me an email now and see if you could so I can see if I can get the email because I have so many dang emails sometimes. You may say your mailbox is full, but just send it to me and I could tell you. But I'll tell you now while I'm on the chat. So hold on. Let me go online. I don't know. Do you want to work at Amazon? Because I'm gonna tell you, the one that I work at is in Duluth, and it's probably like 20 minutes from you, maybe 25. I drive slow, so if you live in Snellville, then there's one that says Lawrenceville, and then there's one that says Duluth. Now, Duluth is not that far because I drive down Lawrenceville Highway and I turn on Pleasant Hill and then I turn on Breckenridge Road and then you go down North Mount. They call it North Mount. That's where I work at. That's Amazon Fresh. That's the groceries. The other facility is the fulfillment center all in Brazelton. That's too far. I don't know if you want to go that far. Or Jefferson. I don't know. They hiring people, but see, they pay $15 plus $5, and I think you could choose a flex schedule. You can work when you want. But a former coworker of mine, she got fired because she wasn't coming to work. She said the people over there are kind of whatever. The one I work at, they real, they not cracking the whip like, yeah, you gotta, pick the groceries and stuff like that. But you're not moving at a fast pace because all you're doing is picking groceries. Or sometimes when they finish picking the groceries, then you sorting. That means you're putting stuff on the shelves. The only thing about that is that you be in the freezer, but they got the suit and stuff. So, and then I'm the social distance person, so I don't really do much of nothing other than stand behind this plexiglass and make sure nobody got no damn coronavirus. So, but it's easy. I'm not saying the job I do. I mean, what I'm doing, I'm standing up, making sure people. That one is easy. So I lucked out to do that because they have to have a social distance person at all times. So if you so happen to be the one, they don't pick no one just at a random. They just asked me when I first got there, and they said, "You want to be the social distance person?" I said, "Sure. What are you going to do? Just walk around the break room and walk around and make sure nobody's 6 feet apart, and you constantly walking. Then I have to. Then now I just stand in the front. But some people don't want to do it because, oh yeah, you have to wear a mask, and you get text messages if somebody got the coronavirus, it'll pop up. They said someone was determined had the coronavirus on the week of da da da, and I'll be like, oh. But yeah, you have to wear a mask. Like I said, it's not bad. I mean, I know it's kind of scary when you work somewhere and you in the warehouse. You may be close, but that's why they got somebody. Me, you ain't be walking all close to me. Sometimes I have to be aware of being up close to people, but yeah, you have to wear a mask. That ain't no question about it. And they having at this point, Amazon. If the economy is going to be as bad as it's going to seems to be, and Amazon pretty much going to hire people like that. If you go to, let me see if I put the website on here. Hold on a second. Everybody wearing masks anyway, I don't know. This might be a long link, but that's uh-oh, I messed up. Okay, I think I put the right link in there, but I was copying and pasting it from the browser, and I put, but yeah, they hiring, and I even applied for a position again to work from home with Amazon, which is really HR, but you're not really like HR. You take calls from people like associates about issues they may have and stuff like that. They hiring, but they didn't hire in Georgia, so they had a position in Georgia that I applied. I haven't heard nothing back from them, but I just know that driving and doing all these gigs, like I said, I signed up with Rody a few years ago when I first started doing all these gigs, and I just recently um signed into the app again because I was like, what, I'm curious, so I signed back on again just to see what kind of new things they got going on, and um yeah, well, you know what, Pete Sanders, just because you may tell you Trump may not be wearing his mask, he may telling people crazy stuff, but shoot, that don't mean he ain't wearing it. He probably wearing it and not even and don't even know it. All right, I'm going to sleep now. I'm about to go to bed. I've been on here for 3 hours. It's 2:47. So y'all have a good night. Talk to y'all later. Good night, Jeremy. Jeremy. Good night, Brian. KJ Presents. Connie. Erica. I know you've been to bed. Avon. Thanks for the support. The best. Lynn. All of my virtual friends. Monica. I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Talk to you tomorrow. Y'all have a safe holiday.